Believe in Bigfoot? Dogman? Any cryptid? Are you skeptical?
Curious about the supernatural, conspiracy theories, the unknown? Then come join us as we explore facts, tall tales, and encounters on Creatures and Curiosities.
Hello, and welcome to Creatures and Curiosities. I'm David.
And I'm Jake.
And in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about, I think everybody loves them.
Everybody does.
There's probably more movies on this than there is anything that I can think of.
And I love them.
I love them.
I love all of them. Well, there's been a couple that I'm like, well.
Yeah. And there's so many variants and varieties of it as you go through these modern day cinema projection of what these things are. And of course, we're talking about zombies.
Zombies.
Gotta love zombies.
You do. Especially, like you said, the movies.
Yeah. Now, I always wanted, I'm not a doomsday prepper per se. I do things that I think could assist me in the event of, how should I put this, like global catastrophe or something more so. I'm not like prepping for a zombie apocalypse.
Right.
I want one.
But I'm not ready for it.
But I'm not ready for it. Exactly. And so when you think about, like, I hate to use the term like hoarding food, but I always make sure like my pantry is stocked as we rotate through canned vegetables and soups and things.
Well, and just based on normal power outages, it's silly not to be ready for 3 days to a week at least. At least that.
Yeah. And I think that I'm good to go for a couple months.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm not good at is storing water. Because I don't drink much water.
Right.
I drink coffee. But
you need the water, or you need the water for the coffee.
Exactly. And I need to think about things like that. I do have the Gallatin River flowing by, and I have life straws and things of that nature. And
you can boil water. And
I have my go bag set up. I have radio systems, firearms, ammunition, just about everything you can think of that you need as far as like blades.
Yeah.
Small axes. Well, your son got me that axe, and that thing is sharp as can be. You can shave with it. So I have a whole bunch of things that in the event that something bad happened, I'm pretty much ready to go for at least a few months.
Yeah.
And then you hope, the electric grids are back up and things are back to normal. But if they aren't, at least I know I can survive for a while.
Right.
And then you get into the mindset of, well, I have plenty of deer on my property. I have the river right next to me for fish. So I have kind of an endless water and food supply. It'd be all protein. You can't really grow vegetables and stuff during the winter.
Right. Yeah.
Here.
Especially not here. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you can things, they only last so long.
Yeah.
So if it was an apocalyptic event that's going to be a lifetime, then we're all hurting.
Right.
Nobody's prepared for anything like that. But I have always thought, in the event of war, in the event of power outages, natural disasters, I'm pretty much set. But I'm hoping for the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Because I just want to go out there and smoke those things.
And I'm going to be picky about it. I don't want it to be World War Z style.
No.
Where you got Usain Bolt as a zombie sprinting, doing a 4.40.
Exactly.
On a level of speed.
And that's what I was talking about when there's different variants, because you have the mindless moron out there, with no jaw, basically scratching along, dragging a broken leg.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is walk.
Give me those
guys. Away from I want those. Yep. Right. That way you can just walk up on one, use your sword to whack its head off. Or, for me, I enjoy firearms. But of course, as we get into this thing, firearms are going to attract more, or at least they do mostly in movies.
Right.
So you want the silent kill and all that. But I've always kind of wanted that zombie apocalyptic thing going. But like you said, no World War Z.
No.
Because if they're running faster than I can and in hordes where they're just swarming you like bees, then no.
Well, even if you're super athletic, but they can move quickly, all it takes is a scratch,
right,
for that infection to get in you, or it doesn't have to be them fully getting a hold of you and taking you to the ground. It just needs to be a wound,
right,
that's opening up, and now they're putting their
And when there's
nastiness in you.
multiples,
Yeah.
and you're whacking one, and shoving another one off of you,
Yeah.
but you got 12 of them on your flank side, and
'Cause I'm
one of them bites you or scratches you.
Right. I'm pretty quick, but I'm not Deion Sanders.
Right.
I'm not going to be able to juke all these guys and run away from them. And plus, what kind of coward would just run while his family's there? You can't move too quickly.
No. Well,
'Cause
sometimes you have to sacrifice the kids
Well, you probably
for your own survival.
depending on, That's why you just got to start taking over the neighbors as well.
Yeah.
That way you don't even have to worry about them getting you.
Well, that's, to me, the biggest problem with a zombie apocalypse. And that is people are who you won't be able to trust.
Because they're awful people. They're awful when the world's not going.
They're going to want your stuff.
Yep.
And so you basically have to kill everyone you meet.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. And I would.
Well, because when I watch like The Walking Dead, I'm almost yelling at the TV. Just off that guy. He's bad.
Right.
Like, what's that? The governor. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Don't reason with that guy.
No.
Just schwack him and call it a day.
Yeah. Negan.
Yeah.
And whatever his name was.
And they're making let's make an alliance with him. No.
Nope.
They're going to kill you.
Yep.
And if they can't kill you, they're going to take your stuff.
Yep.
And now you're back to square one.
Got to smoke everybody that you come in contact with.
Unfortunately you do.
And take their stuff.
Yeah.
And repent later. But survival is key.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into some survival techniques and places that you should or shouldn't live, in the event of a zombie apocalypse. And like I say, I doubt that one is ever coming.
Right.
But you just never know.
Yeah, because then you have to add on not to just food and equipment, but fortification.
Yeah, which is key.
You can't just leave your big sliding glass door as a big sliding glass door.
Yep. You can't be nomadic either. In Walking Dead and other movies, it's always they're moving to a new location, trying to get where there's no zombies. Well, in theory, zombies would be everywhere.
Right.
I can't remember what show it was when they were trying to get to like an island, but even the island was infected.
Yeah,
and
I remember that one.
Zombies walking on the bottom of the ocean because
to get to
they
the
can't
island.
drown. So
Right.
they're all, So in theory, there's no place to go. So you might as well have a good stronghold versus trying to run from them all the time. Anyway, zombies, great subject matter. We're not going to be able to cover everything about zombies.
Oh, there's no way.
Clearly, because there's just too many different variations of how a zombie thing can occur and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to kind of talk about, like, can they exist?
Yeah.
If they did exist, what can you do to protect yourself?
And that's kind of the disappointingly fun part of this episode, right? Like,
Yeah.
whereas when you talk about Dogman, he's out there.
He's out there.
So it's fun to talk about. But with zombies,
So far, there's no
they're
evidence.
they're not out there,
Yeah.
right? Like, which
No.
sucks to say. It's disappointing.
And there's
to a
plenty
certain
of
extent.
evidence of Sasquatch. There's plenty of eyewitnesses to Bat Squatch, the Jersey Devil, the
Chupacabra, all those guys, yeah.
All those things, thousands of people have seen them. Really, nobody's really seen zombies. Now, I asked you just before we went on air here, did you see the video where somebody took video of these people like out in a field where they were just walking around like mindless souls, just lost? And I can't even remember what the video was about other than the fact they're saying, are these people zombies? And they did look like it, but come on. It's either staged or, somebody lost their contacts out in a field and people were walking around looking at the ground trying to find them.
Slowly moving.
It was something. They weren't zombies.
Right.
But, and I know you said you hadn't seen that video, and I can't remember where it was, but somebody was trying to kind of prove that maybe this concept of zombies does exist and that it is out there in the world, but I don't know. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I feel like that clip would be more quote unquote viral.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it would have been on the news.
It would have been everywhere
if it was, real zombies. So let's get into this. A description of a zombie, and of course they can vary.
Yep.
But we're going based on modern day concepts of what a zombie is or looks like. So a zombie is an undead or a reanimated corpse that's usually driven by this compulsive primal hunger, right? They're always looking for flesh to eat.
Yeah.
Their physical appearance, skin appears unhealthy, usually yellowish, gray, greenish. with visible signs of either sagging or bruising or rotting flesh. And I don't know why they always have to be that. Because let's just say you drop dead right now.
Yeah.
And you're reanimated. Well, you haven't had time to rot.
Right.
So you'd just be a normal person walking around. But in almost every movie, something's hanging off of them.
Or even like in The Walking Dead, when someone would die right away and come back, their eyes immediately went to that look. And it's like, but why?
Yeah.
They don't when you're dead.
And then, of course, wherever they were bitten, they always over-exaggerate the flesh hanging off the neck.
It's immediately rotted.
Yeah, and they're dragging like a broken ankle with the bones protruding out.
Yeah.
And it's always that. But I would think that if zombies truly existed and the infection rate occurred quickly, that most people would just look normal.
You would think so. And I guess you could say the eye thing could be the infection running rampant through your bloodstream, and that's why your eyes look like that, that has where it doesn't look like your normal eyes.
That glazed over look or bloodshot.
But still, it's like they make it so...
Yeah, overly dramatic.
It's.
And I don't think if it was real that it would be quite like that.
Which technically, to me, makes it more terrifying.
Right.
Because if you walked out and saw your wife walking over to you and you're like, oh, hey, honey, what are you doing? And you had no idea that she was.
Yeah.
That's how you get got.
That's why you just kill them.
That's why you just in case.
Your wife walks up to you, even if she looks normal.
You just got to pop her. Yeah. Because you never know. She could be a zombie.
That's right. They're usually found in tattered, torn, blood-stained clothing. Their physical traits usually include missing body parts, like I said, where their limbs or their eyes hanging out, or exposed bones, organs, where they've got their intestines hanging out their stomach or something. And they love to, for the gruesome effect, obviously they love to do that.
Yeah.
But I just don't believe that's the way it would be.
Right.
A zombie scratches you, you fall to the ground, you become one, you get up, you're not going to be in that condition.
Immediately rotted,
Yeah, you're going to look normal, which is why you kill your wife and children as soon as you see them. Defining characteristics of a zombie. They're typically like a decaying, rotting cadaver, but like some movies will portray them as living hosts controlled by parasites, fungi, or scientific viruses.
Yeah.
Some great movies, too.
Oh, phenomenal.
I love them. I don't think there's many zombie movies that I've ever watched that I didn't like. Even the cheesy B-rated ones are fun. And things like Shaun of the Dead and stuff.
Oh, hysterical.
Hysterical. I love that stuff. They're usually devoid of self-awareness, personal identity, and free will. They're usually characterized by a singular obsessive focus, which is usually consuming human flesh. They're always out hunting people, right?
Yep.
They just wander aimlessly until they find somebody or hear a noise, and then they're attracted to it. They head that way, and their sole thing is to eat it.
Yep. Whatever it is. Person, dog, rabbit.
It doesn't matter, yeah. I think in The Walking Dead, weren't they attacking horses and stuff all the time too? Yeah. So they often move, and this is what you discussed earlier.
Yeah.
They often move in a slow, awkward, shuffling or dragging appendages, but a lot of times they will depict them as being fast and agile, and they rely on basic instincts and senses to detect their prey, which is usually audible. They seem to, in a lot of movies, like wasn't it The Walking Dead, where if you smeared their guts and stuff all over you.
Oh, you were, like masking your scent.
Yeah.
You're essentially like Schwarzenegger in Predator.
Yes.
With the mud.
Same basic concept, right? Where you could walk amongst them if you smelled like them. And so obviously visual things were not that important. It was based on the sound and smell.
Yeah.
More than visual. Now, movies like I Am Legend, World War Z portray them as being fast and agile, where you kind of don't really stand a chance.
Yeah.
Unless you're really good with a weapon and you can fend off, multiples. I think you're toast.
Yeah, because
you need the slow moving one that's dragging his broken leg. That you can either A, get away, or B, defend yourself by smacking him or cutting his head off.
Even 3 or 4, you better be phenomenal with a weapon.
Yeah.
Because they're closing the gap, and I mean, what's the standard, 2 rounds in under 2 seconds from the holster, but that's transitioning targets. And we're talking potentially headshots
Yeah.
at something moving, which I don't know, for those of you listening that don't shoot weapons, all the shows are bogus. Like,
oh yeah.
when they just hand somebody a gun, they're like, point and shoot, point and pull the trigger. And they're just cracking off headshots like it's no big deal. It's not how firearms work.
Especially with something that's, dragging along and the head's bobbing and everything else. And they're firing with one hand, while running.
Yeah. And it's
backwards
and it's a Glock. And don't get me wrong, I carry a Glock. That's my favorite pistol, but pistols are drastically harder to shoot than like an AR.
Right.
As far as like holding it up, being able to pull it against your body, controlling recoil. It's way more difficult to hit.
And the other thing I really hate, and I didn't want to get started on this.
Might as well, though.
It drives me crazy in movies is who does their technical stuff. I hate it.
Because sometimes they'll say, we got former special forces operator doing our military advisement. And it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah. And in the movie, they'll hand someone a Glock and say, now take the safety off. And it's like, there's no safety on a Glock, you moron.
Yeah.
Or what was the movie? It drove me absolutely insane. I think it was Pelican.
Taking of Pelham 123.
Pelham 123.
Yeah.
And they hand him and I don't really remember, but they hand him like a Smith & Wesson Model 459 or something. He puts it in the bag, right? He goes to the train tracks, and then when he unzips it and pulls it out, now it's a Walther PPKS.
Yeah.
And it's like
two completely different handguns.
Completely different firearms. It's like, who did your advising on this, But
it's the same. I got to add, I have to. It's the same as when the guys, it's like police officers too, and they roll up to a house and then they take their like Glocks out and then they rack one into the chamber and you're like,
Starsky and Hutch back in the day was really good for that.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
You guys didn't have one in the pipe already?
Yeah. One guy pulls a Colt Python and the other one pulls out like a Browning high power, but he racks it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you were carrying an unloaded firearm as a police officer, you're an idiot.
Weren't we watching one where the guy pulled out some kind of Smith & Wesson style revolver and you hear a click sound like he was taking a safety off?
Yeah.
And who's making those calls?
That.
Yeah, it's too much.
I can't take that stuff. So anyway, we went off in a tangent here. Back to zombies. You cannot headshot a zombie in a rapid fire situation. There's a few people in the world that can. I think I could take out like 3, in 2 seconds or under. I think that's not as difficult as it sounds if you practice. But if you were a person who was just handed a firearm, like you said, I just handed it to your wife or something and said, here, kill those 5 zombies. And she can get 5 headshots in before they can get on you.
From like 20, 30 yards away?
While you're running
with a pistol?
Backwards and no aiming or anything. It's so phony.
Expert marksmen are going to have problems doing that with a pistol at that speed from that distance. Anyway,
I think your best bet is you take them on one at a time. If there's a horde run, you got to get away from them, right?
And my wife could definitely shoot. She'd get a couple, but she wouldn't get all. And that's someone who can shoot.
Yeah, exactly. So we went off on a tangent there.
Well, and it had to be said.
It had to be said because I cannot take these movies that don't do firearms properly.
The gun guys out there listening, I know they're going to be shaking their head like, me too,
because they've watched these movies
and it's ridiculous.
Thought the same thing.
Yep.
So anyway,
popping off 15 rounds from a revolver before you
that's
reload.
The other one I hate. The only one that I actually enjoyed was Dirty Harry. When Dirty Harry fires his Model 2944 mag, and he says he's lost count. What does he say?
Do you feel lucky?
Yeah. Punk. He goes for it, and of course he's got one left. But if you go back and watch that movie and you count the rounds, they actually did it right. But I've watched other movies where 15 rounds out of a 6-shot revolver, and it's like, come on, who's doing?
Some people nail it, like the movie The Heat. And then some people just destroy it, They're doing tack reloads and everything.
Right. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a great gun battle scene.
Yep.
If you've never watched Heat, that's a good movie. Okay, so anyway, back to zombies. Let's get into like the origin of zombies. This dates way back, 17th, 18th century. Apparently in Haitian folklore, they rooted this concept of zombies in the history of like world slavery. When slavery became popular, slavery's been in every culture throughout time, right? Since the beginning of time, somebody's been a slave. But the concept of, I think it's called, is it chattel slavery? When you actually get ownership, you can buy, you can sell, you get like deeds to these people.
Right. I believe
think it's called a chattel slavery. And when that started, when you were able to buy and sell, the enslaved Africans, they ended up combining like their native religious customs with the whole brutality of colonial plantations to create the concept of this soulless, enslaved worker that's now trapped in the living dead. And so the initial idea of a zombie was a person that basically has just lost their personal will, free will. They've lost their own liberties and whatnot. So they became enslaved to have to do what other people wanted them to do. And so in theory, that's kind of what a zombie is.
Yeah.
Right? The term zombie was actually derived from the Central and West African word nzambi, which translated to God or spirit of a dead person. And then Haitian voodoo, they had what was called a bokor, which was just a sorcerer or a witch, basically. And they were believed to create zombies by casting spells or using potions on these people. And obviously, they didn't turn into what we now know as a zombie and kill people and eat their flesh, but they were considered just rather mindless shell of a human stripped of free will, forced to perform endless manual labor. And so, realistically speaking, a zombie back in those times were just enslaved people who had no ability to free themselves from a situation, whether that was sold into slavery and fear kept them in slavery, or if it was basic like mind control spiritually.
Right.
So like a black magic
possession
situation or possession.
Borderline possession.
Yeah. And we'll kind of get into that just a little bit on like the Lazarus effect and different things of raising dead and how that kind of comes into the realm of zombies. But anthropologists over the years did investigate documented cases. There was one where this guy, Clairvius Narcissus, he reportedly woke up from the dead years after he was buried. But I think what they were finding is that these sorcerers or witches may have used potent neurotoxins to induce this death-like coma before reviving the victim for enslavement. So this whole concept of zombies does kind of root itself in this Haitian black magic stuff.
Yeah.
Which is frightening.
Yeah.
I think anytime you're dealing or dabbling in magical affairs and putting, whether it's a potion or whether it's a spell or whatnot, of course, our audience knows by now that, we're both biblically, we look at things from like demonic standpoint a lot.
Absolutely.
And I think going back into this time, when you had somebody that was casting spells, and I don't know how that honestly would work, like if you were a Christian believer, but I don't think the Haitians were Christians at the time, right? Their religious beliefs were slightly different. So not saying that would invoke demonic possession, but if you have like a sorcerer or a witch that's kind of doing that to you, I think that it's potential that the original zombies were actually just like possessed people.
Yeah.
Crazy concept, I suppose, if people would not agree with that, but I can't help but believe, like if you, biblically speaking, when they used to go by the caves and people were just completely insane.
Yeah.
And they looked rotted or something
Sickly,
was just sickly about them. And then Christ would cast the demons out of them and they were fine. So
there's something to that.
There's something to it. I think historically that it could be a very accurate statement to say that demonic possession could, in fact, I don't know if you want to go so far as say raise the dead. Yeah. But I think that they can.
Yeah.
And so why couldn't they today?
Exactly.
That's kind of the key is, could zombies exist, which we're going to get into in just a second. But modern evolution of the zombie actually began with, I don't know if you saw this, but George Romero's Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was back in, what, 1968 or something,
Yeah,
I think it came out.
I think it was black and white at the time, too, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was an awesome,
Yeah.
awesome movie.
Yep.
And they didn't really call them zombies in the movie because I don't think that was even popular to call them at the time. They were just mindless people turned into cannibalistic, viral, world-ending threats.
Yep.
And they did. I remember they were breaking into grocery stores and eating the meat out of the frozen meat section and stuff. And then they would start eating people. So they were more cannibals than they were what we now call the modern day zombie.
Right.
But that kind of sparked it. And I think I talk about that movie later. I don't remember if it was 63 or 68. But so zombies have been around a while.
Yeah.
17th, 18th century was the original zombie, which was just an enslaved person, to what we now know today, thanks to George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. So let's get into a little bit about, can a zombie even exist? Is it even within the realm of possibilities? I don't know what your thought is on that, but scientifically speaking, they can't exist.
Right.
In what we know today, a zombie can't exist, but that's science.
That's science.
Versus spiritual.
Or supernatural, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, however you want to go there. I personally think, and this is where people say, this guy's a nut, but I think it's possible to have a zombie. I don't think that it's a widespread virus that's going to infect the whole world and become the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But is it possible for a corpse to be reanimated? I think that in the spiritual world, it's possible.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they can walk around, bite somebody, and now infect you.
Now, do you think
how you're looking at that.
Do you think it's more possible that they're reanimating or that somebody has been infected and then maybe they quote unquote die, but they are still going?
Well, and that's kind of what we're going to get into, right? So a reanimated corpse coming back to life, as we know it, is physically impossible. Science says dead tissue cannot sustain movement, metabolism, or brain function. But zombie-like conditions are real in nature. And we're going to go into just a couple of those. And when we did some research on this, just sick. It's sick.
Yeah. It's sick, but on a impressive level. Because it's like,
absolutely.
What? Like how it almost doesn't make sense.
No, but it's barbaric.
Yeah. And I like it.
What happens in nature, and it's just unbelievable. But we did find that certain parasites and pathogens can hijack the nervous systems of a host, fundamentally altering their whole mind, their behavior, how they function, which makes you a zombie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Getting into some of the real world things, there are some mind controlling parasites out there. And I'm telling you, when we look these up, you think it's brutal when a bear kills an elk and eats it while it's still alive. This is beyond that.
Yeah.
Some of the things that these parasites do is unbelievable. There is a thing called the Ophiocordyceps fungi. Now, this particular one, it infects ants. It takes over their nervous system completely, forcing them to leave their colony. So they're just mindless now.
Right. Because that's huge.
They've left the protection of their colony. The fungus compels this little ant to bite onto a leaf in a specific environment before killing it, and then it sprouts this fruiting stalk. And so the sacrifice of this little ant brings on a particular fruit in this region.
Yeah.
But the point is that it is this cordyceps that takes over the ant that forces it to do something it doesn't want to do. It leaves the security of its home and it becomes suicidal.
And this isn't a 20-year-old who's moving to a different state to be on their own. These are ants. This is what they do.
That's what they do.
They let off a scent so that way they know where to stay and where the colony is and where the trail goes and all that stuff. They don't go out to find themselves.
And this parasite takes over this little ant's nervous system and just destroys them.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. And I know that one doesn't sound that mind-boggling, but there's another parasite that takes over another type of ant and forces it to seek the highest point. So this little ant leaves his colony and he just climbs, whether it's a tree or a house or a mountain or a rock or whatever, and it just keeps climbing until it can't go any higher. And then the little ant dies. It bursts open and these seed pods from this fungus fly out of it,
Yeah.
filter down, and then infect other ants as this continues to grow. And so that is the concept of zombies, right?
Because imagine if that was, see, it's easy to dismiss it, right? Because it's an ant.
It's an ant.
You see an ant on your counter, you smash it, and you irritated it was on the counter.
Yeah.
You don't care about it. Imagine now if it was a person
Right.
that just starts walking off.
If that fungus could infect a person and you just walk the highest point, when you hit 8,000 feet, you implode.
And then you just spread all
and
these
you
seeds.
spread them, and then those get into other people and they keep walking. I mean, that is a zombie apocalypse.
It's 100%. Yeah.
In the ant world. Then the most horrifying
Yes.
to me was the example of the jewel wasp. They inject venom directly into a cockroach's brain. They transform this little guy into a zombie that they can lead him around. You did the research on that one.
Yeah.
Explain what happens in that scenario. And this one's terrifying.
So it's 2 stings. One sting essentially separates the portion of its brain that allows it to control itself. So it essentially loses all inhibition. It just is like, okay, well, I'm going to stand here. And then the other portion, it lops off its antennas, and the other portion sticks in and then controls it. Well, what it does is it essentially drives this cockroach like it's a Volkswagen Bug back to its burrow. When it gets to its burrow, it lays an egg on it. It seals up the burrow. And then when the egg hatches, it goes into and the cockroach is alive during this whole thing. It purposely keeps it alive for this. The egg goes into the hatched wasp now goes into the cockroach, eats the non-vital organs of the cockroach so it stays alive and it can grow until finally it gets big enough that it eats the whole cockroach and kills it.
Yeah.
And now it can live.
And so this venom literally is a mind control.
Yeah.
It takes away the fight or flight
Yep.
of the cockroach. So the cockroach doesn't even know to run away
No.
as it's being led off
And then eaten.
to the burrow of this wasp so that it can be eaten from the inside out.
Yeah.
Now imagine if that wasp could do that to a human.
Right.
Sting you, you lose your will to live, you don't know where you are, you don't care, you don't want to run, and you just walk into its
Little cave.
cave where you're going to be eaten alive.
Yeah.
That is just terrifying.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's sick and twisted.
It is.
That
It is.
anything even exists like this in the world.
There was also one about grasshoppers that we saw.
Oh,
And it was
that hairworm.
hairworm that'll.
Yeah.
So what happens is the grasshopper eats its larva, not knowing what's going to happen, and then it ingests it. And once it's in him, this hairworm comes out and it infects the grasshopper. So that way the grasshopper loses its fear of water, and the grasshopper will go into a lake, a river, pond, whatever body of water, jump in, it drowns, and then the hairworm eats it from the inside out and then comes out and lives.
And infects other grasshoppers. And the pictures of that thing when it's coming out of it,
That's horrifying.
that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that movie Splinter?
Yes. Yes.
It kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Where it's just like coming out like hair or needles.
Right.
It's sick. And
It's
nature
sick.
is sick. But nature has zombies,
Right.
period.
And again, it's easy to dismiss because it's bugs and we don't care. You're kind of glad. I know my wife would be glad.
Yeah.
One less grasshopper
One
in the
less-
world.
Yeah, exactly.
She hates those things.
I know.
But if it was happening to people, can you imagine if I was walking around and then all this hair started sprouting out of me and
Yeah.
I'm just mindless
Like the movie Splinter.
until thousands of worms burst out of my
Yeah.
body and start
And-
crawling at you?
And then infect you.
Yeah.
And then you know what your fate is.
Yep.
You're going to be eaten from the inside out. And then
You can't do anything
you're
about
going to
it.
produce
Yeah.
more of them. Human zombie conditions. Let's get out of the insect world. There is no known virus that turns humans into mindless, flesh-eating creatures. But there are conditions that kind of could mirror that condition.
Right.
Prion diseases. I had no idea what this was, but this is stuff like, so prion disease in the world of like animals is like mad cow disease and stuff where
Okay.
it just takes over their nervous system and their brain and they start losing their mind and doing weird things. Well, there's a condition that's called kuru. And this was found in like cannibalistic tribes. It was caused by eating contaminated brain tissue. Same thing as like mad cow disease.
Yeah.
You can actually eat infected beef and get this disease. And it results in the loss of bodily control. You get tremors and pathological bursts of laughter.
Which you think, oh, no big deal. No, that's horrifying.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
That's why they put them in scary movies where someone's just laughing in the corner of a room. It's
like
terrifying.
Smile.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that. So, and this is a real thing. Now, we're not cannibals, but you could eat infected beef from like mad cow disease and stuff. And can those viruses be passed on to people? Well, they technically can if you're eating the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
And you can get infected. So that's frightening. Now, do you become a flesh-eating cannibal? No, you don't. But you can actually die from it. And in the meantime, you're losing bodily control. And
yeah, you've lost your mind.
You've lost your mind.
Yeah.
And you're going to be in a nut house. Rabies. Rabies is one that we all know is a terrifying disease. You don't ever want to get that. That virus attacks your central nervous system. It can cause zombie-like effects, aggressive behavior, hydrophobia, fear of water, complete delirium, and excessive foaming at the mouth. Now, if you saw that, if you saw somebody suffering from rabies and they wanted to tear your head off, they're running at you with foam coming out of their mouth and they're completely insane, what would you think?
I'm popping them.
Zombie.
Yep.
They're going down.
Yeah.
And that is a real world thing.
Yeah.
People do get rabies, unfortunately.
I've heard the shot process for that is horrifying too.
You get all those, what is it, a series of shots?
And I think they give
I
them to you
can't
like in
even-
your stomach or something, and it's extremely painful.
And they're painful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't want that. And in order to determine whether or not the animal that bit you was rabid, you have to have the animal and they have to like check its brain.
Yeah, so
for rabies.
If it bit you and ran off,
you're screwed. So now you either have to wait until you have symptoms of rabies
or just get the shots
and potentially die from it,
Yeah.
or you go through the hellacious series of shots. And what do you hope that you have them so that to go through that? I mean, I'd hate to not have it and put myself through that, but I don't know. So anyway, rabies is a zombie-like condition. Neurotoxins, certain compounds, the tetrodotoxin that comes from a pufferfish, that was used by the Haitians to get the mind control over these people. Kind of puts you in this, it slows down your metabolic functions and it makes you kind of like the undead. You're just comatose.
Yep.
You have no
sauntering
idea.
around.
Sauntering around like an idiot. Those conditions, while somewhat rare, can occur in humans. Now, there was a video game that turned into an HBO program called The Last of Us. Do you remember watching that at all?
I played the game a little bit. I never watched the show.
Well, that was the whole concept of this widespread zombie apocalypse that started by the cordyceps. So those cordyceps, the ones that control these little bugs, there's like 750 different types of cordyceps that infect these little insects. But they cannot actually be spread from insects to humans.
Or so they say.
So they say. And thank goodness, right? I mean, how would you like to get that hairworm?
Yeah.
That's just terrifying. So it's not likely that a cordyceps can jump species and infect a human being, but it does bring up the point that a fungi has been known to develop thermotolerances or resistance to high temperatures. So, we run at 98.6 and most insects are lower. So while these fungi can seek a host in an insect, when they get into us, they can't handle our heat, apparently. And so they die off. But if the fungi develops this thermotolerance, then they could actually kind of, like through metamorphosis or whatever you want to call it, through evolution, it's possible that they could
adapt to
us.
it. Yeah.
And if that happens, then we're all screwed.
Then we're all done for.
Yeah. Especially the one that climbs to higher levels and bursts, and then its spores float all over the place. And just imagine how quickly that would infect everybody.
Well, can you imagine walking out and you're like, hey, Grace, what are you doing up in that tree? And then and she just explodes everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it's misting in your face. And you're like, what the heck?
Terrible. So scientifically speaking, they found that this is already kind of occurring. There's a fungi called Candida auris, and they have found that it's causing widespread infection around the world because higher temperatures, larger populations of people, especially those with compromised immune systems, are making it possible for this to now infect you. Candida fungus, there's several variants of that, and people get stuff like that all the time. But this particular one was not in humans, but now it is. And so it kind of just showing that through evolution, these things are adapting to things, and they can infect people. So that's kind of terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
So that begs the question, can a virus actually alter your genetic code? And without getting too far into this, the movie Resident Evil.
The best zombie series.
One of the best zombie.
It's my favorite one.
Yeah. I love those. And I think I've seen all of them.
Probably 10 times a piece at least.
Yeah. Now, that one stands out from other zombie movies because it focuses on the idea that this zombie virus can actually alter your genetic code. Remember Nemesis?
Yep.
The guy from the original one, and as they're wheeling him out, you see the things coming out of his arm.
Yeah.
And then he turns into Nemesis, and she has to fight him later, and she ends up killing her friend because he's no longer her friend.
Right.
He's completely morphed into this other thing because it got into him and completely changed his genetic code. Well, they did find that viruses basically just they're a simple little structure and they can't reproduce on their own. They rely on the host cell in order to reproduce and make more virus. And some viruses do it by inserting their own DNA or RNA into your human cell, which, so when you think about it and when you break it down, it's kind of frightening.
Oh, yeah.
We don't care because you get a little cold or something. You say, hey, is it virus or is it bacteria? You know? But when you really understand what viruses are doing inside your body, where they're breaking cells down, inserting their own DNA into it, they've actually found that some of those viruses that they call the RNA, they can actually break down your cells over time. It's called a retrovirus, and it continues to copy itself, which can then infect your reproductive cells so that you're passing that on to your offspring.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of things like that. HPV, hepatitis B, C, HIV, all those things are retroviruses that can alter your genetic code. And so those can literally be passed along to your newborn baby because the virus takes over your cells.
Yeah.
And it is actually being reproduced into another human being. And so imagine if there was like these cordyceps that could get into us and insert their DNA as like a retrovirus. And then now you're passing that along. So you're like giving birth to a zombie.
Yeah. And then it's just getting stronger and stronger because it's adapting more. And
right. And then all of a sudden, the human species is gone and we're nothing but zombies.
Yeah.
So kind of a fun concept, but I don't want it.
I don't
want to pass that along. Can infections actually cause changes in your brain? Well, of course, they have found that they can.
Yeah.
Rabies is one specifically that actually causes behavioral changes, and it usually leads to a fatal infection. So some viruses like bacteria, parasites, and fungi, they do have the ability to cause inflammation in and around your brain, and they can cause things like encephalitis and whatnot. And so think about like meningitis is a good example.
Yeah.
It can be fatal, right? But it can also cause long-term damage to your brain because your brain is swelling and certain areas of it can die off and things happen to you.
Which changes could change. I mean, it would change who you are.
Can change exactly who you are. And so can it turn you into a zombie? I don't know.
It's possible.
But I would say that it's possible scientifically. They say, nope, it's impossible to become a zombie. And I'm saying, well, if I've been genetically altered, my behavioral pattern has completely changed, and I could die from it, but in the meantime, I'm no longer who I was, then I'm a zombie.
Yeah. Or at least zombie adjacent, but I'm right there.
I might not be trying to eat human flesh or something.
You don't have the crippled leg that you're dragging behind you, but
but I might be in a nut house, in a straitjacket trying to bite people. Zombie.
A zombie.
That's a zombie. I don't care what anybody says. Infections that are caused by zombie viruses usually lead to increased decay and cell death, which we can call like necrotizing fasciitis. So obviously in a movie, they bite you, you almost immediately become infected by it, and it rapidly causes decay and cell death, and you become this zombie. Well, actually, they have figured out that this necrotizing fasciitis is, in fact, a flesh-eating disease that can affect your muscle, but it's under the surface of your skin. You've seen that.
Oh, yeah.
The flesh-eating disease where your skin turns black
Yep.
and dies off. And you develop these pustules. And this can only be done like through a break in your skin. So let's say you have it. You have that flesh-eating disease. Now, and this is science. I don't want to get quoted here because I don't always believe that stuff. It's like when they said HIV is in the saliva, but, you can't get it from kissing, and dentists, don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Can't get it from a mosquito bite and all that stuff. I don't know. Has that ever actually been proven, or is that just government cover up?
Well, I mean, if the government's saying it, it's a lie. Yeah. So.
And so in this particular case, like this flesh-eating disease, they say just touching somebody, you can't get it. It has to be through a wound. Well, I'm thinking zombie.
Yeah.
If you have a flesh-eating virus that's altering you and you're dying from it and you can't stop it from happening and you bite me.
Or I scratch you.
Yeah, then I have a wound.
Right.
And if the wound then can become infected and I get this necrosis, then is that not basically a zombie virus?
To me, it is.
Zombies are real. That's the way I'm seeing it.
I like it.
And then, of course, I loved the movie 28 Days Later.
Absolutely.
That was a good one. And he gets infected when he looks up and that drop of blood comes down from that tower or whatever. It's like a bridge thing or whatever it was. Was he at a junkyard or something?
I can't remember where he was.
And there was a dead body up there and the drip dropped off and ding,
right
hit him in the eye.
Yep.
And then he becomes a zombie. Well, so when you look into that, the question that you got to ask is, can a single drop of blood actually cause an infection? Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
It absolutely can. Now, science will say that a drop of blood is normally not enough to cause an infection, but
it's not 100%.
But it's not 100%. And they say the drop of blood would actually have to have enough infectious particles in it in order to be able to cause infection. But come on, HIV, hepatitis?
Yeah.
I know like Hep B, that'll lay dormant. Like, let's say I get a little drop of blood and I have Hep B and I touch like a countertop and the blood dries. That's infectious for like 7 days.
Yeah.
HIV dies pretty quickly out in oxygenated world, right? But like Hep B's that just sits there. So now you come along and lay your arm on it and you happen to have a cut or some wound of some kind. And then that can cause you to get hepatitis B.
Yeah.
Well, that basically is the concept of all this zombie stuff, right? So a drop of blood hitting him right in the eye, and your eye has, millions of little capillaries, and I would imagine that could cause an infection.
Absolutely.
And so I think the movie is more accurate than what science is trying to say, oh, don't be afraid of just a drop of blood. Well, for crying out loud, we wear hazmat suits nowadays.
Yeah.
As soon as you deal with anybody with blood, even when they're teaching you first aid, if somebody's bleeding, have them apply compression to the wound,
Yeah.
right? Not you,
Right.
unless you have gloves and a mask and glasses and oxygen and
Don't be scared of a drop of blood, but if you go into Albertsons,
Yeah.
make sure you have your mask on so that way everybody
Exactly.
doesn't.
stay 10 feet away
Oh
from
my
everybody. And
But
then,
be covered in their blood. It's
yeah.
fine.
And so the last question that we would have on can zombies exist is, have we gotten to the point in science and medical that we can actually reanimate dead tissue? You can't have a zombie, obviously, if you can't bring the dead back to life, right? Scientifically, they say it's impossible to do that. However, one study at Yale, researchers were able to restore function to cells across multiple organs in pigs that were dead for more than an hour. So they were able to reanimate the cells in the organs of a pig after it's dead.
Which, why do we do stuff like
I
this?
don't know.
We are
Because
always,
we're going to create a
I was
zombie
gonna say,
apocalypse.
we're always creating our own horror movie.
So obviously they need to do more research, but they're finding that maybe, just maybe, we can. Now, where that would benefit humankind, obviously, is when people die and they want to donate their organs, your organs begin deterioration immediately, right?
Right.
As soon as you die, they're already starting to, they no longer receive the oxygen they need. They start dying off immediately. So if you're like a heart donor, they need to get you from the accident scene where you've died into surgery, immediately get the heart out and take care of stuff so that it's viable for transplant.
Yeah.
But if they wait too long, the cells die and they cannot reanimate that. And so when they're doing research on pigs, the purpose right now is to see if little Johnny dies in an accident, can we recover his liver, maybe 7 hours from now and put it in somebody and have it as a viable organ? Can we reanimate the cells, make that a living tissue again? And that's great, because if they perfected that, then organ donation would be better than it is now. When I say better, I just mean that they could do it quicker or easier if they didn't have to get things prepared like immediate.
Right.
Like, you died, we got to get him, on a flight to Salt Lake City to get that organ out of him. They could just, pack you up in ice and ship you off, and then they could reanimate your tissue later. And so that would be a benefit to mankind.
Until you give someone the heart of a zombie.
Until you become zombies,
Yeah.
right? And so now you get the Frankenstein or Lazarus effect.
Yep.
A lot of movies are based on spiritual stuff, like Pet Sematary and things like that, right? Where they're bringing something that's dead back to life, reanimating it. Well, do you know any movie where it's ever been good?
Yeah, no.
No.
Nope.
No, even in, and I'll probably get the names of these wrong, but what was the name of the movie where all the little doctors got together to reanimate each other? They would kill themselves and then be brought back.
Oh, yeah.
And they did a remake on it. So there's been 2 of them.
Geez, I can't remember. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I can't remember.
So there's that kind where you die and come back, but then their lives were changed completely, altered, and they all end up dying or killing themselves because they couldn't deal with it. There's like the Lazarus effect, where you're being raised from the dead. There's Pet Cemeteries. There's the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger and his daughter, Emily, or whatever the name of that one was. There's so many movies based on the concept of, I miss my son and I want him back. And so they use black magic or some potion or something to get him back, and he's never what he was.
And then he's chasing you through the house with a scalpel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so do we really want to go there? If we reanimate the dead, then we're literally creating zombies, and we have no idea what the potential of that could be. I think it would be evil.
I agree.
I don't think it's anything good coming out of that. But anyway, so we should leave things alone. Stop cloning sheep and stop
quit doing it.
Trying to make things and crossbreed things and all the genetically modified food. It's all killing us.
Yep.
And so will the zombies once we create those.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that. So let's say we create zombies, or let's say zombies actually exist. How do we protect ourselves from zombies? You want to cover some of these points? Because I think when zombies do show up on our front lawn, you need to know what to do.
Yeah, so a couple things to protect yourself. You could prioritize mobility, clothing, and secure shelter.
Yep. Clear cut stuff.
Yeah, avoid heavy restrictive armor because you need to maximize mobility and speed. Obviously, being slow makes you vulnerable.
Right.
Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And so I think that's one of the first things you would do is like put on a knight's armor or something.
Yeah.
And that, I can't get bit, but you also can't get away from them. So when they start tearing you limb from limb.
You got 4 or 5 on top of you.
Yeah. So yeah, good idea there. No armor.
Bite-proof layers. Focus on protecting extremities, your forearms and your lower legs. Use stuff like leather, denim, or magazine arm braces.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that's all pretty standard because it's still lightweight, but you're protected. So you have mobility and survivability on top of it.
And the magazine arm brace thing, we've actually had cases where people have used them as like bulletproof vests.
Yeah.
You just pack in a bunch of newspaper or magazines specifically.
Yeah, because the material, yeah.
And you'd be surprised how well that protects somebody.
Yeah. And I mean, even something like get a couple, if you don't have a bunch of magazines, get a couple and chip out a piece of tile or something from your bathroom floor. Tape it in between there.
Yeah.
Still lightweight enough, but it'll give you something.
It's like a shock plate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Keep hair short to prevent grabbing and wear tight-fitting clothing, so no baggy stuff.
Don't want to get yanked into the horde.
So the second it happens, my daughter, my wife, I'm shaving their heads.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to.
If you don't shoot them first.
If they want to be. And of course, kind of like we were talking about earlier, establish a stronghold. Find a sturdy remote location made of brick or concrete. Avoid living the nomadic life, as unfamiliar terrain and lack of shelter increase your exposure.
Yep.
You need to hunker down.
Hunker down and fortify.
In a good spot.
And if you can't fend them off and they kill you, so be it.
Yeah.
But to just always be on the run with your family looking for stuff, nah.
No.
Mm-mm.
Downtown LA, just because you're in a concrete building, you're not safe.
Yeah. No.
Fortify your entries. Keep doors and windows securely barricaded. Use screws instead of nails when boarding up, as they resist thrashing better. And if you need to pop it out, you can pop it out.
Right.
Because you don't need a drill for that. You can use a screwdriver.
Right.
Maintain silence. Zombies are attracted to sound and movement. Stay put. Keep noise to a minimum and consider using exterior surveillance.
Yeah. Now that's in a world where you might have electricity still.
Right.
If you don't, you might set up some bells or something so as they're crossing over rope lines.
Couldn't use a generator. Too loud.
Too loud.
And you wouldn't want to use the little bit of fuel you have for a generator. You wouldn't want to waste it on surveillance.
And this is why learning how to start fires and things of that nature. People always say, oh, he's a doomsday prepper. He's a nut. It's not.
Right.
Learn some basic skills. Know how to hunt. Know how to clean an animal. Know how to cook out in the wilderness. Learn how to start a fire. Learn how to use weapons. These are all basic survival things.
If you're in Montana, Idaho, wherever that snows and gets really cold in the winter, and you guys lose power, like Grace said in Tennessee, what were they out of power for a week? I mean, luckily she was here for that. Yeah. But if you can't build a fire without a lighter, you're going to freeze.
You're going to freeze to death.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to kill an animal and use its pelt for warmth.
And that's just normal living. Power goes out all the time places. You have blackouts and stuff. So it's basic.
Basic skills, but in the event of a zombie apocalypse.
Needed skills. Yep. According to standard emergency management advice, just outrun your friends.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I've always loved that. They always say, how do you survive a grizzly bear attack? Yeah. You shoot your friend in the knee.
Yeah.
And then you take off running.
I don't have to be faster than a grizzly. I just have to be faster than you.
Exactly.
Kill the closest first.
Yep.
If you must make a stand, engage the immediate closest threat rather than tackling the whole horde.
Yep. Pop one, take off running.
If you got 5 coming at you, the one 20 feet away isn't as dangerous as the one 10 feet away.
Right. Common sense.
And then melee over guns. Blades do not need reloading, do not make loud noises that attract hordes, and they're highly reliable. Yep. And also, good blades.
Good blades.
Not the one you got on Amazon for $20.
Right.
Something nice.
Kind of like in Walking Dead when she used the katana.
Yeah.
And the people that had the silent weapons didn't attract more.
Right.
As soon as you fire a round off, then, the other 20,000 zombies are heading your direction.
Yeah.
When you could have just sliced the head off of one.
Right.
And then the other thing that they didn't mention in this protection of zombie thing is in some movies, and of course we don't know what a reality would be with a zombie, but if you shoot a zombie anywhere other than the head, it just gets up, reanimates, and keeps coming.
Right. And now you're down a bullet.
You got to take its brain out, right? So at least as far as the movies go, if you're going to attack a zombie, you got to go for the head.
Yep.
Cutting its arm off or something ain't going to do anything for you.
And think about the things you have too. Like I said, with the sword or a melee, like buy once, cry once, get something nice. Same with, even though there's nothing better than the sound of a wooden baseball bat.
Yep.
Have an aluminum one.
Yep.
Because after so many whacks.
Yep. It's going to break.
It's going to break. Whereas you might dent the aluminum, but that's fine.
It's still good.
Yeah.
And even if the end of it rips off, now you got a jagged piece of metal at the end.
Exactly. Whereas a wooden one, if it cracks, you're only going to get so much out of that.
Right.
So
Think
about it.
So then we started looking at where's the best place to live?
Yeah.
In the event of this apocalyptic event, where do you want to be? Where do you not want to be? Well, as it turns out, Alaska tops the list on, they call it the readiness index, which, you can see these things online and they're hysterical. Some of them will give you a different response than what we're going to say, but I think this is the most accurate way to look at it. You're looking at population density and environment.
Right.
So if you have one person per square mile, you obviously have an advantage over living in Los Angeles.
Exactly.
Because as people start turning into zombies, if you only have to deal with one person every square mile, your odds of survival are really good.
Yep.
If you have 8 million people that turned into zombies, you're not going to make it out of there.
Right.
So Alaska being number one, they also highly rank Maine due to abundance of wilderness, low population density, and a high number of hunting stores. So you have access to weapons and ammunition if you can, get in there.
Yeah.
Both of the Dakotas, clearly North Dakota's like it's frozen tundra.
Yep.
And there's not much up there. South Dakota,
it's high desert.
And doomsday preppers seem to love that area because it also has vast farmland for sustainable foods. Montana is up there for the abundance of wilderness, wildlife, food resources, low population density. Like where I am, I have easy access to deer and fish.
Mm-hmm.
I also have enough property that I can see you coming a long ways away.
Right.
And so I'm going to probably pop you long before you even make it to my home. And then I go out and burn the bodies and, et cetera, et cetera. The worst state to live in, I would have thought New York or California.
Right.
But they say New Jersey ranks dead last on the index. It has the highest population density in the country, and it leaves you virtually trapped by hordes, and you have limited access to any hunting or emergency gear because, they hate weapons back there.
Yeah. Smart move, guys.
Yeah. Connecticut and Rhode Island, again, high dense populations. They lack open wilderness. California is in the top 5. While it is a highly armed state, everybody, like in Kern County alone, everybody owns a firearm.
Yeah.
But there's just too many people.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is it'll bottleneck because a lot of people say, well, if there was an outbreak of zombies, we'd just hop in our car and take off. To where?
To traffic,
the
standstill traffic.
Standstill traffic. And then you got zombies walking down the highway, picking people off in their cars.
And not to mention now that standstill traffic, some of those cars are dead now.
Yeah. Right.
Because they couldn't get away.
Can't get away.
And they're actually dead. Yeah. So now you have stuff blocking you.
Right.
So what are you going to do?
There's no getting out of California.
And plus, let's just call it like it is. There are good people in California, but there's also quite a bit of just the scourge of the earth in California.
Exactly.
Who you're going
to have a lot of transient zombies walking around.
Or you're just going to have gangbangers who are robbing you for your stuff while you're trying to drive away. You're worried about the zombies. and you got some gangbanger rolling up, popping you.
Yep.
Just because they don't care.
So don't live in California.
Or just stay in California.
Or, don't come to Montana.
Yeah, stay away from here.
Stay in California. But if there's a zombie apocalypse, we'll just pray for you.
Yeah.
Getting into a few cinema zombies, 1932 was the very first film about a zombie. But it was enslaved Caribbean zombies that came to America.
Yep.
So it wasn't your flesh-eating zombie. It was the original concept of a zombie. In 1968, as we talked about earlier, the film Night of the Living Dead came out, and that's when they became the flesh-eating. They weren't zombies in the movie. They were just the living dead is what they called them.
Yeah.
But that was the first good zombie movie in America.
Yep.
Then you get all the viral outbreak type movies. And that's when 28 Days Later, Resident Evil, World War Z, just a myriad. I mean, there's so many zombie movies now.
And I love them.
But they're all based on contagion, pandemic style threats, plagues, viruses, parasites. You're bitten or you get into the water causes it or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's the fun stuff.
Oh,
Those are the better movies.
Yep.
Night of the Living Dead, if anybody watches that, is an old black and white.
Yeah.
Is really bad.
Yeah.
Really cheesy, but I still love it.
It's a cult classic.
Yeah. But nowadays, everything is via infection of some kind. And that's your classic zombie.
Yep.
So I think we've covered pretty much everything there is to cover about zombies. I can't think of anything else that we really need to go into. Can zombies exist? I'm going to say yes. Science will tell you no. It's impossible. But listen, they're working on it right now.
Yeah, they're
trying
doing
to
it.
bring pigs back to life, for God's sake. So are they going to be potential? Yep. Down the road, I think they will be. Someday in the end times, will there be zombies? Quite possibly. Demonic possessed, dead things walking around.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
I had this video saved and I didn't have a chance to watch it before this episode, but it's called, the title is something along the lines of zombies in the Bible. And I don't know, it could be some guy's misinterpretation of scripture because you see a lot of that, unfortunately, but I'll have to watch it before our next episode because I would be interested to see what his take on that is. Because obviously, I don't know the Bible in and out yet. Yeah. But I would be interested to see what this guy is claiming is a zombie in the Bible. Yep. Whether it's slaves, like we talked about before, or if it's something else.
Would be interesting to see what his take is on that.
Could be heretical nonsense. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to say the potential of zombies is there. It's a very slight potential, but a fun thought nonetheless.
I love it.
If they're World War Z zombies, I don't want it to happen.
Where they're climbing on top of themselves to get over things, you're done for.
Yeah, you're done for. They're just too fast. And
because even if you're the fastest person alive, you can only run for so long.
Right.
Whereas they are.
And the infection rate was insane.
It was insane.
So you're not going to escape that.
Right.
But if it's Night of the Living Dead stuff, we stand a really good chance.
Yep. And it's going to be fun.
And that would be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be like being able to kill things without actually committing a homicide. Because they're already dead.
Yeah. I love it.
So anyway, if you're a firearm enthusiast and you like shooting things, zombie apocalypse would be just the hot ticket. Otherwise, we don't need it.
No.
Don't want it. And then pray for the insects that get infected by these fungi where they become zombies and are led off to their death. That's just horrifying. Yeah. That shouldn't happen to any living creature, but unfortunately it does.
Led off to a horrifying death too. Not just the death, but eaten from the inside out.
Yeah, but then they only eat the non-essential organs.
So you stay alive
that you're
the whole time.
Dying and you're in pain, but you have to live through it.
Yep.
Terrible stuff. But anyway, that's all we got on zombies.
Yeah.
Our next episode in a couple of weeks is going to be on dragons.
Yeah.
Did they exist? Do they exist? Are they coming back?
Yes to everything.
I got to say yes to everything. Dragons are cool in one respect and horrifying in another.
Yep.
I actually have a dragon tattoo, not realizing that Satan was the dragon.
And that's the thing, right?
And so I have to repent for this. I did it because I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But dragons are typically evil.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get into that. And if you're interested in dragons, then please come join us. And until then.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show and you want to help us out, then go ahead and give us a follow, leave us a review, and don't forget to turn on the automatic download button so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And as always, if you've had any experiences, stories, thoughts, comments, or questions, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email to cryptidfanatic@gmail.com. Let us know if you'd like to be on the show or just have your story featured during one of our episodes.